I spoke with Luke Longley earlier. He said you're mad about Australia. You're really enjoying your time here. What do you enjoy most about your time out here?
Well, I'm excited that I had the opportunity to come over and check out the NBL. This was something that I really wanted to touch on and have a couple of young boys. So I'm maybe thinking about bringing them over and getting them involved in the program that they've created.
Did you have any impressions or expectations of the NBL before you got here? And if so, what were they and how did they change when you saw the product live?
I don't think I had any expectations. Basketball is played the same all over the world. I knew the game was going to be competitive. We've got some Americans that have came over here and played, so I knew that the players can play and that they have the fan support here. And so I think the NBL is really growing and developing, and I think their awareness all around the world is being heard.
I think the thing most people say when they watch basketball in Australia or the NBL is that it's really physical. There are similarities between the NBL and NBA. It's really fast. What are sort of the differences that you noticed with the NBL game compared to the game that you've been around most of your life?
I mean, based on the fact of only seeing one NBL game, I don't see the different physicalities from one game to another or from one league to the other. The guys are competitive, and some guys on the court are more of a bully and more of a bruiser, so the game can tend to get a little physical. But I think the officials really take care of the game. They let the players play, but I didn't think it got too much more physical than the NBA or any other league.
I spoke with Luke about sort of your best trait on the court, and he said it was your generosity, right? Your willingness to sort of involve others in your success. Where does that come from, do you think?
I think it's just part of my upbringing and how I learned the game of basketball. It's not about me first, it's about team. And there's an old saying that there's no I in team. So I learned that very fast and understood that that game, if you want to be successful, there's no room for any individual accolades unless the team is being successful.
You've been a part of a lot of successful teams, both three-peat teams, the Dream Team. How important is it to have a version of that, someone who is willing to be selfless and to be there for the team in a room that is probably full of a lot of egos?
Well, I think that's important, and I think that 92 Dream Team was a very unselfish team. Guys realized and knew what our mission was, and it's important. I mean, that's what basketball is. It's a team game. It's not about me, it's about team.
And I look at that team, obviously the talent was really immense, but you guys came together, and I look at the USA team that just played at the FIBA World Cup. They weren't able to come together in the same way. What do you think a team like that, a USA team that is so talented, needs to do to make sure that they can compete with some of these Euro countries, some of these national teams that have been together for a good amount of time?
Well, we have to send our best players over for one, and I think that will kind of say a lot. But I think, we haven't always sent our best talent over, and we've suffered from it as we did this summer.
Do you think that the USA should treat the World Cup more seriously than perhaps they have been this entire time?
That's really not for me to answer. I think we still know at the end that we're going to win the gold and that we should win the gold. So I think a lot of the top players tend not to want to play for those FIBA Cup tournaments and things like that. They were more or less focused on their careers and their seasons and trying to stay healthy and get their summer workout in so they're prepared for the NBA season. And we're more focused on the gold medal, I think, at the end of the day.
You spoke a little bit about your upbringing, like youngest of 12. You've gone through some tragedy in your life. How do you think going through all of those things shaped you into the person and player that you were on the court and also that you've become now?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think it helped a lot. But, I had dreams and aspirations of being great at this game. And I never gave up on that. And I don't know what shaped me to have that mindset, but it was a dream that I wanted to play in the NBA and I wanted to be a great.
So you're a country town kid. and you had those dreams. Well, how tough is it to not give up on those dreams and to continue to chase them, even when you were the shorter kid from somewhere that people don't really know much about? You're still able to succeed. How do you sort of keep that dream alive?
I think it's just about believing in yourself and never giving up. You're right. I come from a small town. It's very easy for me to sort of drop my head and give up, but I never did that. I always believed in me and my craft and the work that I was put in, that it would pay off.
You said you didn't see enough NBL to see the differences between the NBL and NBA game. What are the big differences you see from the NBA game of today versus the one that you played in back then?
I think shooting is definitely more focus on it. Teams are looking to shoot more three-pointers than when it was when I played. More scoring is being added to the game. More up-tempo style of game. Coaches are not controlling the game as much as they did, calling plays and things of that nature, whereas the players are kind of taking the game and sort of speeded it up, and the possessions to me are not as important. I think the number of possessions is important. That's why you see players shooting, whether it's a good shot or bad shot, but they're more or less about volume.
Do you think your game, I feel like a lot of people would look at you, this big wing who can shoot it, who can guard multiple positions, they probably look at you as someone who could really excel today. How good do you think you could have been in today's game?
I would have been great for today's game. I was more of an up and down player, up tempo, played a lot up on the floor, so it would have been a good advantage for me to play at a faster pace.
From some of the guys that you watch today, is there anyone that sort of like you would love to have played with?
Yes, Steph Curry. He's a great shooter, a great player, plays the game the right way, and he seems to be a great teammate.
Do you think someone like Steph Curry could have competed back in your day?
Yes, he definitely could have competed, but it would have been a different game for him. Obviously, playing in the late 80s and in the 90s, the game was much more physical. And today's game is more free shooting, I guess, without the hand check and the physicality of the game.
We are docking here, so just one more for you. You've obviously had success at a lot of levels, but three-peating is a really tough thing to do. I'm sure you've spoken to Luke Longley about the Sydney Kings going for a three-peat this season. It's really draining, right? For you to have done it twice is obviously extremely impressive. What does it take to do it once, and then what is the sort of mental fortitude it takes to go and do that all again?
Well, I think you want to have good health going into the season, but I think once the team is established and they've created that chemistry that they need, then it becomes pretty easy for them, if I can say that, because I've done it twice. So, and I watched the team do it last night. So I expect that the Sydney Kings won't have any trouble three-peating, and I'm sure Luke will be there to give them all that motivation. And I'm looking forward to coming back in February and supporting the NBL season for the playoff.
Are you going to have a little bit more of a quiet trip here in February? Maybe see some more scenes, a bit less things to do?
I think it's going to be a little bit more rowdy. It'll be playoff time, so I'm going to make it a little bit more rowdy, not too quiet.
Awesome. Well, Scottie, I appreciate the time. I couldn't ask for a better place to do it, so I appreciate it very much.
All right.
Thank you for that.